Hello everybody, Marco Chiappetta for HotHardware here. I want to thank you for stopping by to check out this review of the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1 Android slate. And there she is right in front of you. That is a white 16 gig Galaxy Note 10.1 Wi-Fi only model. As the name implies, it has a 10.1 inch screen, and everything that's included with the Note is on display here. There's a simple literature pack, we have a charger and sync cable, and in this little baggie are some replacement tips for the S Pen stylus that's included with the unit. But you didn't come here to see the accessories, you want to see the tablet itself, so let me get my hands on it and show you around. So, and here's a close-up shot of the Galaxy Note 10.1. Before I show off some of the software and features, let me get some specifications out of the way first. The Note 10.1 is powered by a Samsung Exynos 4 quad-core SoC. There are 4 Cortex-A9 cores running at up to 1.4 gigahertz. There is 2 gigabytes of RAM in this unit. Most Android slates have 1 gig or 512 meg, so that's a nice upgrade by Samsung. And there's also an ARM Mali 400 MP4 GPU in here. It's a quad-core GPU as well, so fairly powerful graphics too. Out of the box, it's running Android Ice Cream Sandwich, but Samsung tells us a Jelly Bean update is coming. We're just not sure quite when, but it is in the works. And as we mentioned in the intro, it's a 10.1 inch screen, but the resolution is only 1280 by 800. That was standard fare for about the last year on Android tablets, but Apple and Asus have upped the ante, so we're a little bit disappointed in that resolution. Although the screen is of very nice quality. Brightness and contrast are very good, touch responsiveness is very good, images look great. The resolution just quite isn't up to par with some of the really high-end Android slates on the market. So let's take a look at some of the design elements on the Galaxy Note 10.1. A couple of the first things you're likely to notice are these front-mounted speaker grills here. Samsung went ahead and moved the speakers to the front of the Note 10.1 as opposed to the sides or the back on many other tablets. Now, this setup allows the audio to be basically blasted towards your ears. So you do end up with a better audio experience on the Note 10.1 than many other tablets. It also helps that the speakers are of fairly good quality, so the sound coming out of here is pretty good. One of the drawbacks of this setup is that there's a ridge on the front of the Note. So when you're holding it, you kind of feel this raised edge where the metal meets the glass. You know, it's not a huge issue, but definitely doesn't feel as good as other tablets that are perfectly smooth on the front. Now, what you see on the front here is also a 1.9 megapixel front-facing camera. On the sides, there's really nothing to talk about. They're perfectly smooth. On the bottom, we have the dock connector and a microphone. And on the top, we have the power button, volume rocker, a micro SD card slot, nice and easily accessible card slot, that's a great move, an IR emitter, and a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. There are a couple things to see on the back of the Galaxy Note 10.1 as well. Right here is a 5 megapixel rear-facing camera with an LED flash right next to it. And down here is the S Pen slot. The S Pen is the stylus included with the Galaxy Note 10.1. When you slide that stylus out of its slot, some stylus-optimized apps become available. We're going to show you those next. As we've already mentioned, the Galaxy Note 10.1 is running Android Ice Cream Sandwich out of the box, specifically version 404, but it's also running Samsung's TouchWiz on top of the OS. Now, TouchWiz is fairly clean. Lots of people prefer the stock Android experience. TouchWiz, I actually kind of like it. It gives a nice look to the OS. It also enables some proprietary features not offered on other tablets. Now, these are the stock home screens. You can see there's plenty of widgets already loaded up. But the device is very responsive. The screen is very responsive to touch, works very well. But let me show you some of the cool things available with TouchWiz. So first I'm going to show you multi-screen. Let me bring up the browser here. Now here you see the stock Android browser. As you can see, scrolling is great, zooming is responsive, works really well. But multi-screen is something that Samsung is touting with the Galaxy Note 10.1. If I press this button right up here, a list of apps is going to pop down, and if I press one of them, let's do S Note, you'll actually be able to have 2 apps running side by side. So here you see the browser, here's S Note on this side. Now we should point out, although you're seeing both apps, they're not exactly both running here. So I'm in S Note. If I come back to the browser, did you see that lag? Let me go back to S Note. If I try to scroll here, nothing happens for a couple of seconds. So while the app is technically still running, it is in an inactive state. So it's really just for viewing windows side by side. Now, we should also point out that multi-screen only works with a core group of apps. The browser works, Polaris Office, S-Note, the video player, the multimedia gallery, and the stock email app. Not the Gmail app, just the stock email app. So it's not universally useful, but it is something that Samsung offers that others don't. So you can have two apps side by side. It's great if you want to transcribe something from a web page, say, into S-Note. And on top of this, you have an additional tray of apps that will pop up in their own windows. So if you want a calculator, you can bring that up and have that also running. So you want to bring up the task manager, let's pop that guy up here. So this is something unique to Samsung. Now you have a relatively small screen, but as you see, I have 4 things open at once. Previously, tablets were really just about consumption. Samsung wants to change that perception with the Note 10.1, and while the implementation isn't perfect, the ability to have multiple windows open is something that's really cool and exclusive to this device. So the next thing we want to show you in action is the S Pen. Let me slide it from its slot. Now you see when you pull the stylus out, this tray of apps also pops out. You have S-Note, S-Planner, Crayon Physics, Adobe Photoshop Touch, and Polaris Office. Now these are all applications optimized for use with the S Pen. You don't have to use it, but you just have more precision and control. Really, the S Pen is just like a more precise fingertip. You can use it to navigate the device just as you would your finger. You just have more precision. So let me bring up S-Note and show you what I'm talking about. Now forgive me if I bump the camera and make it move. I'm reaching around a tripod here. So if you go to write with your finger, you know, it works well enough. It's not great. But with the S Pen, it's like you're writing on paper. So if you want to do, you know, character recognition or select parts of an image to drag and drop between apps if you're doing multi-screen, you just have more control with the S Pen. It's not a game changer, but it's definitely a nice addition if you want to use your tablet for more than just consumption. Nice move on Samsung's part. It's part of the reason the Galaxy Note was so popular, and they brought the technology to the tablet. We hope you like this quick look at the Samsung Galaxy Note 10.1. We also have a full write-up up on the site at HotHardware with examples from the video camera, still photos, and a full suite of benchmarks and battery life numbers. Come by the site, check out the full review. Once again, this is Marco Chiappetta for HotHardware. I want to thank you for stopping by.